and non-Catholic alike, who drew our strength and inspiration from Pope Francis' example, as well as everyone around the world. Pope Francis has passed away. Rest in peace, Pope Francis. So, Pope Francis, who rose from modest means in Argentina to become the first Jesuit and Latin American pontiff who clashed with the traditionalists in his push for a more inclusive Roman Catholic Church, and who spoke out tirelessly for migrants, the marginalized, and health of the planet. He died Monday at Vatican's Casa Santa Marta. He was 88 of old age. Pope Francis died on Monday in morning hours. Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Vatican Camerlengo, announced that around 7:30 morning hours, the Bishop of Rome, Pope Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church, Farrell said in the announcement. So Pope Francis was 88, which means that he was born in 1936 and passed on in 2025. He taught the world to live the values of the gospel with faithfulness, courage, and universal love, especially for the poorest and the most marginalized. Today, the world mourns the passing of a man who redefined what it means to lead with love, courage, and radical compassion. Because he was not just a pope, he was the people's pope. He was the most progressive voice of the Catholic Church that has ever known. He was a man who chose humility over power and people over politics. So Pope Francis stood for those the world too often turns back on, as in immigrants, the LGBTQ plus community, the poor, the imprisoned, So he said out loud what so many feared to whisper. He washed the feet of refugees. He embraced those living with AIDS. He challenged world leaders to put humanity before profit. He spoke about climate change, income inequality, and injustice, even if it would ruffle feathers. But anyway, he did it. He was brave, not because he had power, but because he used it to protect the powerless. And he reminded the world that faith is not about exclusion, it's about mercy. Now, let's be honest a bit. Not everyone agreed with him, but in a fast-changing world of today, where people have become more divided than ever, he managed to strongly use his voice to speak sense into the world. And now he finally rests. And I'm sure that Pope Francis would want us to keep spreading the love he always modeled by choosing kindness, by showing up for the forgotten, by speaking up when it's uncomfortable. Today, we don't just say goodbye to a pope, but we honor a brave soul, a shepherd who walked with the wounded, May his soul found the peace he often tried to give others. You know what? Drop your message below to honor him if you feel so. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite, merciful love of God. One in Tribune, just one day after he surprised many by appearing outside the Vatican on Easter Sunday, Pope Francis died on Monday at the age of 88. As I mentioned, he had been recovering from a near fatal bout of double pneumonia. The Pope appeared on a balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square to deliver a blessing and wave at those who gathered there, saying that, "Dear brothers and sisters, happy Easter." He said it in Italian. So listen, as the story goes, when Pope Francis was first told his mother that he wanted to go into priesthood, she suggested that he study medicine instead. He apparently told her that, "I'm studying the medicine of the soul." Great. So after this tragic and triggering news around the world, different renowned people around the world has reacted on the death of Pope Francis, whereby like King Charles and Queen Camilla, they commented or they reacted but they said that a farewell like no other, where King Charles and Queen Camilla reflect on their final moments with Pope Francis just days before his passing, a moving tribute to a life of compassion, unity and faith. Alongside former US President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, whereby they commented by saying that Pope Francis was the rare leader who made us want to be better people in his humility and his gestures, at once simple and profound, in blessing the sick, ministering to the homeless, washing the feet of young prisoners. He shook us out of our complacency and reminded us that we are all bound by moral obligations to God and one another. Today, I mourn with everyone around the world, Catholic and non-Catholic alike, who drew strength and inspiration from the Pope's example. May we continue to heed his call to never remain on the sidelines of this matter of living hope. Those are the people who have been reacting to the death, of course, of Pope Francis around the world, alongside African leaders. So that was the updates. I hope that you have already subscribed on this channel, Done Media TV. If you have not done so, please make sure that your subscription is done for you to be receiving updates or that we upload firstly in the first place. Stay tuned. I am still your man, Don the Great.